This is Sports Drive.
Welcome back into Sports Drive once again. I'm your host, Preston Moore. I mentioned earlier we'd be talking a little bit about the Sod Poodles coming fresh off of their 2024 attendance record this weekend with some incredible drone shows, some incredible baseball, and there's more to come in the rest of the season. Joining me to talk about that right now is Sod Poodles broadcaster Stefan Caray. Stefan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Always good to join the Sports Drive. You guys are so good to be over at News Channel 10, and it's great to see you in the seat. I think this is the first time that you and me have done one of these before, but I want to wish you a congratulations to your new title, man. You deserve it, and it's so much fun to see you in that seat.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. This is the first time that I've had you on the show before, so excited to talk a little bit of Sod Poodles with you. This series had, I feel like, a little bit of everything. We had rain delays, we had big wins, we had big losses, we had drone shows, we had everything in between. When you look at the on-the-field product in particular, obviously last night, not exactly the way that you want to end the series with a 2-15 loss, but that being said, still winning 3 out of 6 there, splitting the series with the Drillers. What do you take away from this series on the field as the second half of the season is coming up very shortly?
Yeah, obviously there weren't a lot of positives to take away toward the back end of that series. 3 losses of 11 or more runs, but then the wins, you look at how well the pitchers performed, but others that you expected to perform a little bit better, Yilbert Diaz, of course, being one of them, and Dylan File having another tough start. That was a bit surprising. I think that defensively was probably the biggest key for Amarillo, defensively and walks in that series, an 11-walk game. 2 games of 6 or more walks in the series. I think that just the fundamental mistakes that were being made were a huge reason as to why Amarillo didn't have a whole lot of success versus Tulsa. But again, they salvaged a series split against a team that has been in the hunt in the North Division. So I think there's a whole lot of room to improve on. 2 more weeks left in the first half. So you got to just start building momentum for that second half start.
Yeah, you mentioned it, leading right into my next question. 2 weeks until the second half of the season started. 11 games back from the first half of the season right now, so it would take nothing short of pretty much a miracle if we were to come out with the first half win. So, like you mentioned, building that momentum, exactly what they did last year and in 2019. Both times that the Sod Poodles have won the Texas League Championship, they got to the playoffs by winning the second half of the season, not the first. So, in that regard, when it comes to getting ready with the second half of the season coming up in just 2 weeks, how important is it to build momentum right now with these upcoming last two series of the first half?
Yeah, it's incredibly important. You've had a 3-week stretch of North Division opponents. Now you're going to get a look at potentially the teams you're going to see a whole lot in the South in the second half. I mean, virtually the entire second half schedule is versus South Division opponents. So you have to find your way against those clubs. It is almost statistically impossible to win the first half. But you mentioned last year, that team never relinquished first place from the first game of the second half on. They were incredibly talented on all sides of the baseball. They were a gritty team. It was a different looking team than the one we have now. And there are going to be a whole lot of changes to this roster in the next couple weeks. That's just the nature of the game. But I think that, to your point, Preston, you need to be able to score some runs. You need to be able to prove to yourself that you can start winning now, not just when the best AA arms go up to AAA and the high A arms come up to AA. You've got to be able to win now and play the brand of baseball that we know they can and have played before. We saw it last year. This is a very similar looking team to last year, and there might be some new faces coming in from last year sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. Well, off the field, it was an incredible weekend at Hodgetown as well. The drone shows, both of Friday and Saturday night's drone shows were absolutely spectacular. I'd never seen one in person, and I was just, my jaw was dropped the entire time. Truly spectacular. Nothing like I've ever seen. And the attendance record was set on Saturday night for this season for 2024, 7,242 Sod Poodles fans in attendance. How cool is it to not only to set that record here in early June instead of, getting closer to hitting those numbers around 4th of July like usual, but to set that record in early June and have the crowds that we had this weekend for a AA baseball team. This isn't something you see very regularly, and I doubt it's something you see when you guys are on the road at other ballparks in the Texas League.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been adamant about saying we have the best fans in all of minor league baseball, if not in all of baseball. But at the beginning of the year, it was a bit surprising. It's always tough in the months of April and May, but Tony Enzer and Anna Spinks in our front office got really creative about this drone show and spared no expense to bring that to Hodgetown. Credit to Rush Lasik for sponsoring the first one. Great people over there, great family that has really helped out the Sod Poodles. But I think that they have gotten really creative with ways to bring people to the ballpark. Yes, the team has struggled. Yes, they got a win that night, but it's nice to see people coming out in full-fledged support. That's what we expect out of Hodgetown from night to night. And it really gets me excited for what July 4th is going to look like, or July 3rd in this case is going to look like, and moving forward in the second half now that we're deep into the summer with no school. We want to see people at the ballpark as much as possible, and there are going to be more events just like that you're going to need to come and see, as well as some pretty great baseball too.
Absolutely. There's a reason the Sod Poodles won Organization of the Year off the field last year, in the same year that they won the Texas League Championship. There is no better team I think, in all of minor league baseball than the team that we have right here in Amarillo, Texas. Stefan, we are out of time, sadly, for now, but thanks for coming on the show, spending some time with us, talking a little bit of Sod Poodles. We're looking forward to this upcoming series that you guys have with the Frisco Rough Riders, getting started tomorrow at 12:05 p.m. Central Time. Stefan, once again, thanks for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Preston, thanks so much, man. If you ever need it, let me know.
Absolutely. We'll have you back on shortly, I'm sure. We'll be right back with Sports Drive right after this break.